up against it. Stuttering John's going up against us again. Stuttering John jumped into my time slot. Have you talked to Stuttering John lately, Tony?
I have not. I heard he's up for the Lakers gig, though.
Yeah, didn't Danny Hurley just turn down $70 million guaranteed?
Yeah, everybody's turning it down. Why would you want to take that? They'd probably be better off at this point with Stuttering John and LeBron. Stuttering LeBron.
Yeah, who wants to coach a 40-year-old LeBron James who's forcing his kid on the team?
God,
anyways,
his kid is so bad.
Yeah,
honestly, he's so bad, and there are teams that they can't even justify it. And kudos to Kendrick Perkins recently. He had a whole thing they were talking about Bronny, and he said, we're talking about a guy who may not get drafted or at best be a late second-round pick, and we're spending all this time. They're like, well, it's LeBron's kid. Yeah, you don't see us talking about other people's kids. I didn't hear this much talk about Steph Curry when he was coming out of college.
I hear I'm getting DMs that Patrick Melton from Nobody Likes Onions is talking about Steel Toe's 10-year-old daughter.
Oh, God.
And that's pretty sick. Anyways, it's Mondays with Mazur, everybody. June 10th, Monday. We're back. We're doing it. Members only chat. So get yourself a membership if you want to jump in the chat. We don't care. We want to eliminate all the nonsense and the bullshit. So be a part of it if you want. If not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. How are you, Tony Mazur?
Good. You got a couple of gigs coming up, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess technically.
Get the plugs out of the way. Let's get the plugs out first.
First and foremost, everybody, sign up to our respected Patreons. You got patreon.com/sitdown Zumock. Then you got Tony Mazur, patreon.com/Tony Mazur. You can sign up for as little as $3. And for me, as much as $100 to be a $100 sponsor. And you can be a $100 sponsor if you want. And shout out to all my $100 sponsors right now. Look at that. Look at that, everybody.
And please, if you have about $10, send it to Chad in a super chat to get his money back from watching The Fall Guy.
We'll get into it.
You got to play the trailer for this.
I'm flying out. Here I am. I'm flying out for Salt Lake City Wednesday morning. I'll land at 3:00. I'm doing 6 shows this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with the great Nick Swartzen. Get your tickets. The early show Saturdays, they're all going to sell out. So get tickets. Shout out to Vinny Cash, who's a $100 sponsor. He's coming to every single one of the shows. He bought
tickets a little something different for each show.
And it makes pressure. Now I have to mix it up. I'm like, God damn it. Jesus.
It was like the comedians of the compound is when they would do those
Matt,
shows.
you know better.
They would do those shows where it'd be 2 shows a night for 3 straight nights. There's not a lot of time for turnover for some of the material for the comics. They're like, yeah, I heard him do that joke. Yeah, because you've been to 5 straight shows. Eventually, you're going to hear something you've already heard.
Speaking of your $100 sponsor, Tony, I owe you $25 here. Well, whatever 30% takes. Ken Mosca, our friend, sending us a $50 super chat, doing a 2-hour drive to New York City.
All right.
Shout out, Ken Mosca.
Stick up.
Ken heading up to Compound Media to put stuff in boxes.
Is that why Anthony's there?
I don't know. Could be.
I mean, Anthony's in New York City. Rumor has Compound Media was going to shut down in June. Then the rumor said July. Do you think he's just finalizing things?
It could be. It could be. I mean, signing the dotted line on a couple of things and looking at getting rid of that studio. I mean, what was it? $20,000 a month for that place?
I think it was $10,000 if I'm not mistaken.
Still a lot of money for an area. If you've been down there, and I know you have, Chad, and I have as well, it's not a very good area over on 35th and 7th.
It wasn't bad. I didn't really go there after the pandemic. Before that, it was fine, but I guess afterwards it was just fucking.
It's pretty bad right now. I mean, I went there. I think I was last there in late 2019, and then I was there again in September 22. Completely different place. It was Mad Max level. Oh yeah,
It was the Wasteland.
That's yeah. But I did get to go see where Gino got punched by Pat
Oh,
Dixon.
is that like is there a memorial there? Is there a plaque?
There really should be. I don't know what you put there, a plaque or dental records or something. But I think, no, you know what? We did it on our Rest in Peace football podcast. Is I was in there doing the podcast from the Sullivans, and I showed the place where it actually happened. And then Gino Irish goodbye us.
Oh, that's right. I remember. Yeah, it's funny how everything has just turned. It's all different now. So right now, the only thing on Compound Media is you got Anthony, you got Steel Toe, or is Steel Toe a part of it still? I don't know. I
have no idea.
I heard Anthony's turned on Steel Toe now, which is hilarious. Then you got Gino and you got Chrissy, and I think that 21 what's that 21 Shotgun Salute show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I've never seen it. I'm sure they're good guys, but haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but
where's
anyway.
Mike Ward? Where's Pantelis at?
Yeah, what happened to those guys? I did
Aaron Berg.
I did Mike Ward's podcast during the pandemic. He was a really nice guy.
There's this guy, he's a real up-and-comer named Alex Stein. What are your thoughts on him?
Jesus Christ. The guy who will do anything.
People you did a podcast with during the pandemic.
Literally will do anything for attention. It doesn't matter, just as long as he gets attention.
Send him a link.
Yeah, send them a link. Why not?
Head to the blimp.
This is members only, so if you don't have a membership, get a membership. Sign up to the memberships. Open your tabs, accept gifted memberships. If you want to be a part, if you don't, we're not going to be talking Dabbleverse, Hackverse shit the whole time. We talk about other things. This is just for us catching up. Like we always said, we've been doing this for 2 years, 2.5 years?
3. Over 3 now.
Yeah, it's just us catching up over the week, seeing what happened, what was going on. You sent me a text message. You were in Whiskey Island back home in Cleveland.
Yes, listening to some Michael Stanley tributes.
Yeah, what was that all about?
No one knows who Michael Stanley is. If you get to about Cedar Point, where that's located, you stop knowing who Michael Stanley is. But no, it was a yacht rock cover band.
Here's their number
I'm
one.
into the I've got the Anchor shirt on right now. I'm all into the yacht rock. Go to see the Doobie Brothers this summer.
For those of you who don't know who Michael Stanley is, this is their one hit that was playing on MTV when it first came out. We'll play a little bit. There he is. Yeah! Turn it up, Jamie. By the way, that's his only lyric in the song. Come on.
Oh yeah, he's pissed. He was pissed about it.
Yeah, because the keyboard player sang the song and wrote the song. Their biggest hit. Cleveland's Bruce Springsteen.
It was one of the first songs ever played on MTV.
That's true, and it was in heavy rotation. We should get this guy on the podcast.
What's his name? Kevin something or
Kevin? I think it's Kevin. I think it's his actual name's Kevin something.
Not Kevin Dubrow.
What to say about it?
Wasn't there a guy named Kevin Dumbfuck that was around for a minute?
No.
Who's this guy saying that he knows how to mystify? You know the charts come and go, honey. He wants to hold you.
Where's his hard hat?
This guy, I know this guy is not going by factory standard. I mean, this is bad. We need to send in some sort of inspector.
Yeah, this is an OSHA violation right here. Actually, he's committing several of them.
This is a big problem here. Where's his gloves? His working, you got to have gloves on.
You got to have gloves. You got to have some safety goggles, depending on where you're at. Hey, look, we don't want any OSHA violations here, and he's committing a lot of them. So he's going to have to answer to the big bosses.
What year is this?
81, I believe.
I hope this factory got shut down because they're violating everything.
Don't you let him try. He says I need you.
Michael Stanley shouldn't be smoking. That could, never mind.
But you better not to Michael. He can love you like I love you.
You were actually co-workers with this guy.
I was. We used to call him Benson because he would tell a dirty joke and close the door, kind of like Robert Guillaume's character in the show Soap, and then eventually Benson, because he would just tell a joke and leave, and then you wouldn't see him the rest of the day.
So he was like a wacky next door neighbor, stick and move.
Yeah, he was like what's his name from Home Improvement, the guy with the hat and look over the fence, Wilson.
Who's that guy? Actually, the bass player in this band, I'm friends with his son, Ted Pecchio.
Get him on.
His brother,
him a
his
link.
dad's Daniel Pecchio. He was in a funk band that played around Kent State called Mr. Tibbs. I still bump him to this day.
He kind of looks like Bill Hicks.
Oh, yeah, I know. Bill Hicks is. Yeah. That guy right there with the mustache, that's Daniel Pecchio. All right, you can go watch it on your own.
Yeah, that's well. Every city has their own. Like every city had their own what we called Big Chuck and Little John, which was that local yokel, like community show, and then you would have your local artist that everybody kind of got live.
There you go.
There was a rumor. There was a rumor, by the way, about Michael Stanley, is that his band, which was pretty popular around Cleveland and they would tour throughout the Midwest in the late 70s, that they were going to be signed by a major label.
He was like the Ray DeVito of music.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, it was like he was almost there, just so close. And it was between two bands that this label was going to go after, and they did not pick Michael Stanley. They picked some obscure band called Huey Lewis and the News. How'd that work out for him?
He called Michael Stanley a Dollar General Rick Springfield. That's hilarious. That's
a little bit.
That's very, very funny.
Is that the Patrick Melton?
No, I don't think so.
Hey, who's our moderator today?
Who is in the moderator? Who's running shit? Jeff Closer looks like he's running the ship today. And Ken Mosca is technically he's a moderator. He's got the wrench.
He's a mod
while he's driving. Keel says he's been a member for 4 months. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
As in Richard Keel?
Possibly. Hey, Chad, favorite STP song? That's a good question. Stone Temple Pilots was awesome. They're a great live band. They were. They still are.
They're still good with Jeff Gutt. Yeah.
You know the lead singer's guy's name? The Scott Weiland. Did you hang out with him?
I did not, but I've seen him live, and he does all that. He kind of looks like Scott. He sounds like him, and he does the kind of weird soft shoe dancing that Scott Weiland used to do. Little hype train.
He does a little hype train on stage.
He hype train.
When we did Rock on the Range that one year, they were playing, and we were in catering, and that's where like all the the bands and all the acts and staff, everyone's back there. And he was at a table alone eating with his sunglasses on, and he had like the blonde hair. He kind of looks like Scott Weiland, but it was really depressing. He had like no one sitting with him. I was like, oh, poor budget Scott Weiland. He has no friends.
I mean, look, if you're at that point, you're dad rock now. So you just have to accept that you're going to play rib cook-offs and strawberry festivals and everything like that. And that's kind of where they're at. If they're going to keep it going, they may as well. So I mean, they sound great. I think they're touring with Soul Asylum and Live and Our Lady Peace this summer. I know you're fans of all those bands, right?
Of course, you know the rundown.
I've seen all of them.
I don't know what my favorite Stone Temple Pilots song is, but I'll tell you the first time I heard Stone Temple Pilots, I was working at Gabriel Brothers in Kent.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Was this before the Kmart or after Kmart?
Before the Kmart. And no, it was after the Kmart. And I was in the shoe department. There's this guy named Dave Hecht, and he was in college at the time. I just graduated high school, and he was a Delta Tau Delta fraternity member, and he was really funny. He was really cool, and we would hang out with him because he would drink beer, and we thought he was like cool. And he played Dead and Bloated off Stone Temple Pilots. You know that I am smelling like a rose that somebody gave, and
he loved that bullhorn too.
Oh, yeah, he broke that motherfucker. Like, he was Jimmy Hart. He was all in on the bullhorn. But that was the first song I heard, and I was like, these guys are great. Love them. But they got some great songs.
Yeah, it's a good tune. I would say Cracker Man is one of my I do like. I like Unglued is another good tune.
Tripping on a Hole and a Paper Heart's a good song.
They usually they end with that one or Sex Type Thing when they perform live now.
I might listen to them today. I have a bike ride coming up. Yeah, I have a bad cold, by the way. I'm warning you.
Uh-oh. You got the COVID again?
No, it's just the cold. It's been so hot down here, like 96 and humid. So I'm going in and out of air conditioning, and I lost my voice yesterday. I had no voice.
You should wear your mask.
So I've been doing
Like Dr.
Dayquil.
Fauci said.
No,
How about that? How about that Fauci? Which the only reason I bring it up is because last week he had the hearing in front of Congress, and they were asking him about the 6-foot social distancing, and it came out months ago that he's like, "Yeah, I don't know where that came from. It just came out of nowhere." It's like you shut down society over some bullshit.
And the sad part is nothing's coming out of this. Nothing.
Nothing.
No, not
No,
a damn thing. They're pointing out all the obvious things that everyone's been saying, and he's protected. He's fine. So it's just, again, another wasted trial.
Yeah, it's one of those things that he's. Yeah, I'd like to see a little accountability, but we know he's not going to spend a day in prison over what happened, and none of them will. They'll just come out with books, and they'll say, maybe we made a couple of mistakes. Yeah, we said a couple of things a couple of years ago. They want us to forget about it. Like, yeah, that wasn't even 5 years ago all that stuff happened. It's kind of why we started this podcast in the first place, is that you were in the hotel that wasn't far from my apartment complex. Then you moved to Florida, and yet there were curfews at 10 o'clock that they had to alter, which was honestly the only thing I liked about the curfew is that the comedy shows weren't lasting until after midnight anymore. I was happy to get done at 9 o'clock and go like, oh, good. I did 2 shows, got paid, and I'm home before 10. Sounds good to me.
I thought the stand-up shows would have started earlier and they would have stayed that way, but no, they went back to their old times. I'm like, come on, nobody's going out at 10 anymore. Nobody.
You know, like the 10:30 start time of some shows?
Oh, brutal. So brutal.
You just look at your phone and the clock strikes midnight. You're like, oh, Jesus, I still have another 25 minutes left here.
When I was in Phoenix with Florentine, it was the first time I was technically on the West Coast since my dry bar special. But I was there, for 5 days, and it was so messed up because it was just, by the time I got on the late show, it was probably like 2 o'clock in the morning back home, East Coast. So, and I don't know if you know this about me, Tony, but I go to bed early. If I don't have a show, I like to be in bed by 11. I'm an old man.
I will say I have noticed that it's 6 a.m. or something. You're at the gym and you're tweeting or posting something on Instagram. And you're like, wait, Chad's up? I thought the comedians live the nocturnal lifestyle. You don't go to bed till 4 o'clock in the morning. No, you're up around that time.
No, I get up. I try to get up early, get stuff going and get my day going. That's my plan anyways, but it doesn't necessarily always happen that way, but it happens. It happens. But so, okay, you went to Whiskey Island. What else happened?
I just drank all weekend. I got shit-faced on a complete bender all weekend. I don't know why. Just because I had a couple of days off, just started drinking. And yeah, so I'm going to dry out for a couple of days and then, yeah, maybe go see the Rolling Stones next week.
Are they playing in Brown Stadium?
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what,
because look, I'm not the biggest Stones fan. I have grown to appreciate them, especially a lot of their 70s and some of their 80s stuff. But do I go? I mean, the guys are in their 80s now. At some point, right? It's now or never territory with Stones. I mean, you know, because you never know. There's no Charlie Watts anymore. Who knows how long Keith Richards is going to have? And you know, Mick Jagger's still dancing. He's in his 80s, has a new hip. But I figured, if I'm going to do it, it's got to be now, or I'm just going to put them on touch tunes at the bar and just listen to the glory days from 10, 15, 20 years before I was born.
No, I went and saw him with Florentine at the Rose Bowl when I was living in LA right before COVID. And, you know, I was just like, let's check this one off. I still have AC/DC to check off. And it was great. It was fantastic. I don't know if I'd ever go see him again, but you know, at this point, it's really not the Rolling Stones. You got Mick there. You got who's the rhythm guitar player?
Ronnie Wood.
Ronnie Wood, and you know, like you said, Charlie Watts is dead. I saw him when Charlie Watts was, but it's just like a bunch of backup singers and backup dancers, backup musicians. But Mick still runs around like a fucking maniac, and he's great. He can hit the notes, and I liked it. You know, I like the Stones.
Well, he's a showman. I mean, I went with the missus, took her to go see Frankie Valli about 2 months ago now. And guy just turned 90. And let's just say that if you're going to go see Frankie Valli on this tour, don't be surprised if the
Don't tell Ray DeVito.
It's taped. That's where I saw Mike Fratello was there. He got a nice ovation from the crowd there when he was at the Frankie Valli show. But yeah, if you're going to go see him, just know that you're going to spend a lot of money on a guy that recorded those vocals about 15 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not going to see Frankie Valli. I think every Italian feels like they have to go see him. It's like Sebastian Maniscalco.
The hell you think you are? Frankie Valli is some kind of big shot?
What are you, Frankie Valli? You belting out the tunes? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Oh man.
Yeah, the Italians, they had their whole it's like you gotta like Sebastian, you gotta watch all the Goodfellas and Casino and all these type of movies, and then you gotta go see Frankie Valli live at some point. You didn't see me going to see Frankie Yankovic.
Frankie Yankovic, yeah, Polish guy.
No, he's actually I believe he was Slovenian, but made good music for us Poles.
Speaking of movies, that's all I did all weekend was watch movies. I went to the movies.
Right.
I watched movies.
So, okay, so tell us some more about The Fall Guy. Can you please pull up the trailer for The Fall Guy?
All right, this is going to get us demonetized, but then again, this is not a money-making show. So we'll watch it. This will be up on Patreon later, so you can watch it because I'll probably block it on YouTube. A 3-minute trailer. I'm not playing a 3-minute trailer.
Okay, well, tell us about it, because we all know remember the TV show with Lee Majors back in the day. So what was different about this one besides everything?
Everything. The only thing that was the same was his name was Colt Seavers, and he drove that truck. That was it. But I was like, I lasted for about an hour, and I go, what the fuck is this? It was like a love story that I wasn't interested in. I don't know what it was. The only reason I went and saw it, I didn't really want to go see The Fall Guy. I like to go to the matinees on Sundays because it's just nice. Got the day off. It's fun. We're not working. The movie theater is like 2 miles away, and it's cool movie theater. And I just like to watch the movies. I love going to the movies. Like last week, I watched Furiosa, the Mad Max one.
Oh yeah.
That was fun. And then, this Fall Guy was fucking garbage. And I was a big fan of the 70s TV show. We all know that one, right?
Well, of course. But
the 80s TV show with Lee Majors, I guess, who had a cameo in the movie, but I didn't see it.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but
this is what I wanted to see.
I've never been with anything less than a man. So fine, I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone past with a girl named Bo. But somehow they just don't end up.
Lee Majors was a alpha male.
It's a death defying. I believe.
He was great.
Take my chances. I die for living in the movies and TV.
I was wondering why they made a TV show about a stunt guy. It was always kind of strange that they did that, but I guess maybe that was the time in Hollywood. Was this a Quinn Martin production?
Glenn A. Larson. I mean, Lee Majors was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll start and I'll sing the fucking theme song.
That's what Grant Goodeve did with the 8 Is Enough theme.
Oh, Grant Goodeve sang the theme song?
He sure did. Like Linda Lavin did the Alice theme. It's like, I'll star in it, but I got to make sure I sing the theme song, too.
Oh, that's right. She sang Alice.
There's a new girl in town.
All right. Well, we've all seen that. Let's watch Alice's theme song.
I did see the new Roadhouse one. I saw this one a while ago, but it is such garbage.
Is it? I wanted to watch it.
First of all, they filmed it. They said they filmed it in the Florida Keys, which they did not. They filmed one scene of them on the 7 Mile Bridge heading down to the Keys. So I'm like, okay, where's the rest of Key Largo, Isla Morada, Key West? No, just one shot of the bridge with the tree that's in the water. And that's about it. And everything else was just, it was so I don't want to say unrealistic, because the first one is obviously, is the first Roadhouse a good, bad movie or a bad, good movie?
A bad, good movie.
Because I would say it's a good, bad movie. Like, it's purposely over the top, and yet you're drawn to watching it. It's like a Nicolas Cage type of performance. But man, this new Roadhouse was such garbage. It was bad. and like the what's his name, Jake Gyllenhaal. It just didn't. It lacked so much, and of course they had to throw all the DEI type of stuff, and had to get the love interest and all that kind of stuff. It was not good. It was not
No
good.
Sam Elliott.
Don't recommend. What's that?
No Sam Elliott.
No Sam Elliott. No, I don't. Who? I don't think there was a Sam Elliott character that they were trying to portray. Of course, the Conor McGregor was the. I don't know what Conor McGregor's character, like who he was. But I think it was one of the guys that was one of the Goonies with Ben Gazzara, but I'm not sure.
Salvador M wants to know if you blew Lee Majors. Is there any truth to this?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it's I've been to Los Angeles a couple of times. I did not get a chance to run into Lee Majors when I was out there.
So this is bullshit.
Yes, fake news. Fake news.
That's why we ask the hard hitting questions. We'll answer them. W man, have you guys seen the new Stallone doc? It was great. Yes, I did.
I did too. Yes,
I thought it was great. What about you?
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty solid. You see him going into the old neighborhood and showing that it was cool. I liked it. I've always respected Stallone, what he was able to do, even if his movies were just kind of there. Favorite Stallone movie, not Rocky and not Rambo.
Cobra.
You like Cobra? Okay,
Easily, hands down, Cobra. What about you?
What was that movie in the 90s? I was gonna go with what Cliffhanger.
I never watched Cliffhanger.
I was gonna. What was the movie he was with where he was naked in the shower with Sharon Stone? They were just banging in the shower.
I don't remember.
I think I've asked this one before, actually.
I really don't remember. I have no clue. What was it?
Stone Sly Stallone movie. The Specialist. That was
yeah. Stallone had a lot of stinkers, bro. A lot of stinkers. But we actually had the bad guy from Cobra on, me and Earl, and we fanned out like little kids. You can go back and watch it.
In America, there's a burglary every 11 seconds. An armed robbery.
It's the way of the new world,
every
man.
65 seconds. A violent crime every 25 seconds.
It's like
I ain't no psycho, man. I'm a hero. I'm a hero of the new world.
Thieves. Not the jerks.
Bam! Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Slasher preys upon anyone.
I'm pumped.
Victims have included business,
Marion Cobretti.
the elderly, and in one case.
There's the night slasher. We interviewed him.
Maybe she'll be safer here. We can keep an eye on her instead of upstate.
It won't work.
Why not?
Because the dealer fanatics will do anything to waste her. That's
You
why.
already caused a lot of people to die. How about letting her live?
You know almost every sicko in this city. Shake them down.
This is
Do what
great.
you have to do to get a lead on this maniac. Do what you do best.
I'm gonna watch this tonight. Fuck yeah. The night slasher. Here he comes. Like an homage to Psycho. Brian Thompson's his name, by the way. I didn't realize this trailer was so long.
Bottom line, Cobra.
Anyways, you go watch the Cobra trailer on your own.
I love the Rambo movies that were, it kind of is a little Death Wish like, where they just got a little bit more absurd, and it went from there's a true villain, there's a true feeling of resentment about what was going on, and then by the end, it just turns into just an old man wanting to kill everybody.
I went through last week after I watched Furiosa. Did you watch the Mad Max Fury Road movie?
I did not know.
Oh, it was fantastic. I loved it. I know. But I was a big fan of the Mad Max trilogy like when I was younger because it was like right around my wheelhouse. My cousin loved it, so I loved it. But I just started watching all post-apocalyptic movies after that. I started watching Damnation Alley with Jan Michael Vincent and George Papard. I was just anything like post-apocalyptic I was in. A boy and his dog.
I want to go back and watch They Live Again.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
You want to talk about a post-apocalyptic movie? Goodness gracious.
I mean, well, it's not necessarily post-apocalyptic. It's kind of sci-fi.
Yeah.
Aliens coming into town. John Carpenter films are fantastic. Escape from New York is fantastic. Oh, Roddy Piper. Come
That's
on,
right.
son.
You got it.
Dominic says Cobra is fun, but overrated in my opinion. It's overrated bad. It's like it's Roadhouse. It's the same thing. It's Roadhouse. It's garbage, but it's fun.
I think we talked about this. You want to talk about an 80s movie that had a great villain, and it's so weird to see the generational divide. Kurtwood Smith in RoboCop was a badass villain.
Dude.
And yet everybody just thinks of him as the dad from that 70s show. And you go, no, this guy was a fucking badass in those
You
days.
need to get our buddy Earl Skakel on. He is the guy who's been pushing for him as one of the baddest villains of all time in RoboCop.
Because he has he's intelligent and he's creepy, but he doesn't do it over the top. And that's what made it such a great role for him. Because again, if you didn't watch RoboCop, by the time you saw that 70s show, you go, wait a second, that's the dad from to this guy. And it creeps you out if you put yourself in that feeling of like, oh, I'm just watching the dad from that 70s show. No, he's good villain.
No, he was great.
Shoots his hand off.
No, that's like Earl's been preaching that he was one of the best villains in movies of all time. Like he's constantly talking about it. Yeah, but he was the dad in that 70s show.
I love the scene when they bring in, what was it, Ed? What's it called?
Right in front of you.
Yep.
Hey, Dickie boy. How's Trix?
That thing is still alive.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The police officer who arrested you, the one you spilled your guts to.
Oh, this guy's always a lieutenant, this cop.
Take a look at my face, Dick. He was trying to kill me.
He's a cyborg, you idiot. He recorded every word you said. His memory's admissible as evidence.
By the way, they filmed this in Houston, this scene, this building.
Even though it's supposed to be Detroit.
Yeah.
That
skyline right there is Houston, Texas.
Kill it.
Well, listen, Chief. Your company built the fucking thing. Now I gotta deal with it? I don't have time for this bullshit.
Suit yourself, Clarence. But Delta City begins construction in 2 months. That's 2 million workers living in trailers.
I'm sure you could see Peter Weller at a Comic-Con near you.
That means drugs, gambling, prostitution.
And Nancy Allen, for that matter.
Yeah.
Virgin territory for the man who knows how to open up new markets. One man can control it all. Clarence.
He is a great bad guy.
Well, I guess we're gonna be friends after all. Richard.
Because he opened it up by saying Dick. That's great.
Now, he's also great in Dead Poet Society, a movie that I can't stand anymore. I used to appreciate it, and I did like Robin Williams at one time when it came to the movies. But now that you kind of look back and realize that the real villain of that movie is the Robin Williams character in Dead Poet Society. And Kurtwood Smith plays the dad of one of the kids. I think the kid that was in House, or the guy was in House, he played the kid who ended up committing suicide. And the dad was like again, you want to talk about a great role for him, just an angry 1950s disappointed dad. And it was great. It was great. Except Dead Poet Society, I don't like the movie. I don't like what it represents. It's very boomerish, but but he played a good role at least.
I don't remember. I remember watching it, but I have no recollection or intake of Dead Poet Society. Like, it's so funny. I actually talked to Jamie Kennedy over the weekend. We were texting because he was on Roseanne Barr's podcast. It was actually a good listen. And I just texted him. I go, dude, that was great. And we were going back and forth. But that was his first movie. It was Dead Poet Society. He was one of the kids in that.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Because there were a bunch of those prep school movies. There was the one with Brendan Fraser. What was the movie where they said like "Go Home Jew" on the wall, and he challenges them outside in the rain, where he yells "Cowards"?
I don't remember that one. Brendan Fraser always bothered me as an actor.
I think it was School Days, I believe is what it was.
Oh, that's right. Right. He always bothered me as an actor.
Why, you didn't like him?
No.
Hey, that's Oscar winner Brendan Fraser now.
In the movie,
did you ever think the guy from Encino Man and George of the Jungle and Dudley Do-Right was going to win an Oscar someday?
Yeah, I don't know. He was in the movie Airheads with Stuttering John.
That's right. The Stuttering John 1993 vehicle with Steve Buscemi and Adam Sandler.
And Stuttering John actually had a song on the soundtrack from what he says. I don't remember, but he
was a plagiarized because I heard there's some accusations of plagiarism going on with him.
With what?
With stealing music or something. I don't know. I just saw it briefly on the Twitterverse.
I don't know. I can't keep up.
School ties. That's it.
I'm actually like anything Stuttering John. I just don't give a shit. I just kind of like, all right, whatever.
It's so funny. I was at a bar the night before I went over to Atlantic City when, of course, Stuttering John was there, and I'm watching and I see the scene on Airheads of him. He's the masturbator.
Oh, that was on in a bar.
It was on in a bar, and of course, and it says Stuttering John Melendez in the credits. And then I say, "Hey, John," I actually said this to him at the brewery. I say, "Hey, I just saw you in Airheads." Oh yeah, it was a great time. It was a great movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot when we talked to him and we trolled him. He was not happy. He had me blocked immediately. Are you blocked?
I'm blocked. I've been blocked for a while now.
Oh, that's too bad.
That's coming up. Actually, it's coming up on a year since we went on this podcast.
How do you remember this stuff?
Great times. It was great time. Well, because the last time I was at Whiskey Island was the day our friend Pete from the Funny Stop passed away, and so I got really drunk there. And then I got drunk yesterday, but for unrelated reasons, just having a good time.
Has it been a year since Pete passed?
Yeah, July 3rd, I believe.
Really? Holy shit. That's crazy.
Yeah. Haven't been back to the Funny Stop in a while. I should go back, say hi, do a guest set, whatever.
I'm booked there November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, so I'll be coming home. Yeah.
You're going to do the radio spots. You're going to go to WNIR and, hey, we got Chad Zumock in studio. Hey, what got you into doing stand-up comedy?
Yeah, I'll just tell them to play the radio spot that I've done for the past 10 years. Just replay it and then plug in the new date.
Or like the interview we did with Bill Stone in between these sets, and it's just your arms cross negative during the whole thing.
Is that still out there?
I think so. Yeah.
Talk about not
the
wanting
Funny
to
Don't
be
Stop
somewhere.
podcast.
Talk about not wanting to be somewhere. I mean, I was fucking anything but. I think I watched a minute of that thing and I shut it off because there was all this background noise going on because it was like just a microphone pointing in our direction. We didn't have lavs or like mics. It was so bad.
There's so many lights on us too.
Yeah, and everyone's walking in, sitting down there, staring at us. I'm like, this is not good. This is not good. By the way, that podcast was 16 minutes long. Did you know that?
I did. It was about 15 minutes too long.
Do you want to watch a little bit of it?
Yeah, let's watch. Let's go back in time. About 2 years now.
That's something that Howard Stern would always say. Let's go back in time. Here's the Red Hot.
To the table, to the table.
Good graphics, right? Is he still doing this?
I don't think so.
Let's see how many hit. It has 142 views, which is wow, way more than I thought.
It's probably from just from us.
Yeah. Oh, there you are, Tony. Look at you.
Some shape there.
Like, why is the intro better than the actual podcast?
I know. I gotta talk to them. Upgrade my podcast like this.
All right, get to it. Jesus Christ.
Was this like playing Ecstasy of Gold before an O&A show?
I know. What is this? Who's this Levester Johnson Jr.?
He's the one who took the pictures.
Yeah, and he did this, obviously. He's a nice guy, talented guy. I'm not
Good
trying
guy.
to shit on him. Great guy. Grab a cock. What the fuck, man? There's no payoff for what's about to happen.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Funny Won't Stop podcast. Here's the Funny Stop Comedy Club. I'm here with Chad Zumock, headliner this week.
You can't even hear.
And local man.
Look at that, Chad Zumock, professional comedian.
There you go.
And as well as Tony Mazur. Also
Professional comedian. Look at that.
radio. Tony, where are you a radio host at? I was.
Why with these? What's with the fade?
I have a podcast. Oh, now you have a podcast. Like everyone else.
Funny won't stop.
The Funny Won't Stop podcast.
Well, go ahead and pitch your podcast.
Yes, it's called the Check Your Brain podcast.
Oh my god! Like the editing's phenomenal, but so not necessary.
Well, there's no microphone. It's like everything looks great, but the microphone, I think, is on the other side of the stage.
It's like, yeah, you can't hear a thing. You hear everybody in the background.
And, it's on Patreon and for free every Wednesday, so if you want to go check it out.
I'm so
Nice
annoyed.
Pan.
Or don't. It doesn't matter to me.
Now, on top of that, you
Here comes a fade.
do one as well together, don't you?
Yeah, we do a podcast together. It's called the Joe Rogan Experience.
All right, I can't even watch this anymore.
The crowd in the background, that's because what you hear are people trying to get into the second show, and it's just picking up the audio from the crowd and not the people who are, on the podcast.
It's just fucking so bad. I hope it's done. And listen, if Bill Stone's watching this, you're a nice guy, and the other guy, nice guy, but come on, read the room, man. I'm tired. I have a second show to do. Let's go.
Well, we got there early because we thought we were going to do the podcast before the first show. Instead, now it's, when you're a comic or musician, you do 2 acts. The last thing you want to do is be on camera doing something else. You just want to relax a little bit. Instead, it's arms crossed negative.
That's what Ray DeVito does. Like, he'll do like shows. He'll jump on a Big Jay Okerson show and like Liberty or a Mark Norman show. And then he bugs them to do his podcast, and they agree to do it in between shows, but they don't want to do it, but they just want to be nice. So when Mark's always, or when Ray's always saying, I got Mark Norman, I got Big J, it's always in the green room of a Funny Bone in between shows. They don't want to be there. They're just like, all right, we'll throw you a bone. And that's what it is. But he actually,
what does he do? Because I honestly, I can't watch his podcast or listen to it or anything. Does he just set his phone up and just say, hey guys, hey punks, what's going on?
Yeah, pretty much his laptop, and he plugs in his microphone and he gives it to the other guy, and they just talk, and there's no direction. There's no like angle to where he's going. It's just Ray just, hey man, how do you write your jokes? I write jokes.
So he's just a radio DJ that asks the same questions. Hey, where do you come up with your material?
It's the same, nonsense. It's all bullshit. It's just a waste of time. And it's just Mark and Big J being nice to him. They're like, we'll throw you this bone. We're not coming to your studio. We're not doing this. Let's just get it done. Let's get it over with.
Yeah, and then you put it on your resume that you had Big J and Mark Norman, some of the top comics in the country, on your podcast.
Well, now, according to Ray, now that he's not affiliated with Kevin Brennan, that he's going to get top tier comics again. He goes, the reason why they didn't want to come on before is because of his association with Kevin Brennan, even though Kevin Brennan is the one who gave him his audience. The reason why he has monetization or any kind of an audience or super chatters is because of Kevin. But now he's no longer in the Dabbleverse. He's no longer affiliated with Kevin. He's got A-listers coming. He's got Bonnie McFarlane, Karen Feehan's coming. They're all coming. Big J, they're all coming.
Only Feehan's.
Only Feehan, yeah, who blocked me on Instagram, which is weird.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
I don't know. Somebody like kind of brought her up, and I went to look for her, and I noticed I wasn't like the link was broke. I go, this is weird. She used to follow me, and then another comic brought it up. I go, yeah. So I go, oh wow, I'm blocked. Nice.
Yeah, you can't look at her stories anymore of her in the sauna.
Yeah, I'm not interested in a 42-year-old hothead.
Hey, she's California sober.
Yeah, exactly. So am I guess. What do you got going on this weekend?
Well, that's I think Saturday's the Rolling Stones concert, so I might be heading over for that. I had somebody came up to me and asked if I wanted to call a play-by-play game. I'm like, I haven't done play-by-play in a while, and it's for a soccer game. I don't know one thing about soccer other than kick the ball. That's about it. So probably not. But yeah, that's and then just working, doing my podcast, which is called the Check Your Brain Podcast. Go on Patreon, patreon.com/Tony Mazur. New and improved Check Your Brain Podcast with new microphone. And that's about it. Everything else is about the same. Me ranting about nonsense.
By the way, if you go see the Rolling Stones on Saturday, when they sing Gimme Shelter, the black girl in that's one of Godfrey's best friends.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
She fucking murders it. It's a whole breakdown between Mick and the black lady. I don't know her name, but you'll see her. That should be fun. You should go see it.
Minnie Riperton?
Yeah, just go see these bands because they're not being replaced. I mean, the rock bands, who's replacing the Stones? Who's replacing these people? Nobody. That's why Guns N' Roses are going on their 15th going away, like their reunion tour of Slash and Duff. Like no one's replacing them. And you see the Black Keys got downgraded, right?
Well, yeah, because I mean their tickets were like $100-something a pop, and I think the days of the Black Keys. And I say this as somebody who knows Pat Carney's dad, and I worked with him for a long time. And good guy, good people and stuff. It's just they overextended themselves. I mean, for God's sakes, last week Kenny Chesney was in town, and you would think lawn tickets for a Kenny Chesney concert, $200. Are you kidding me? Who can afford this? But it's just one of those things that, yeah, there are certain bands. Honestly, since Tom Petty died, it make it like an obligation that I have to see them at some point before they go, or else I'm going to regret it, because Tom Petty tours 3 months. I'm like, I'll see him in the next tour. He's not that old. He's only like 60 something. Sure enough, drops dead a couple of months later. So I always try to make sure I get a chance to go see some of these acts before they go away.
Oh,
so
by the
Scott
way,
Weiland, I've seen, had to do. I've seen Scott Weiland with Velvet Revolver and Stone Temple Pilots. So it's good to say I saw them, I guess.
I could probably say I've opened for Stone Temple Pilots with Scott Weiland, which is
that's right.
Crazy.
You're waiting for him to come on board.
Yeah,
he probably wasn't even in the state yet when they told you to do 15 up front.
And I told them to go fuck themselves. They don't want to see me at all. I'll tell 2 jokes and introduce them, and that's it. But yeah, I've told the story a million times. I've got to beat your head over. And in fact, a week from Friday, I'll be seeing the Chili Peppers down here in Tampa. I got front row tickets.
That's right.
Rolling out with Gladwell's son, him and his new hot sauce. We're doing it. So it should be a good time. Looking forward to it.
How many times have you seen Chili Peppers?
Let's say 8. That's a good amount, right?
This would be 8 or it would be 9 now.
This will be 8.
I've seen them 3 times. I did get to see them with Frusciante twice, and then with Josh Klinghoffer as the guitarist. And a fine job, but just not Frusciante.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it's like Axl Rose without Slash. They had DJ Ashba wearing his hat, but it was fine. The song sounded good.
Yeah.
But
it was like when I saw Fleetwood Mac, but they didn't have Lindsey Buckingham. They had Mike Campbell, who was Tom Petty's old guitarist, and they had Neil Finn, was from Crowded House, was there doing the Lindsey Buckingham parts.
How could you not have how do you break up with Lindsey Buckingham when you only have like a couple years left on the land, like the world? Like,
I don't know. Ask Hall & Oates.
Exactly. Hall & Oates. They fucking hate each other. They're done. It's just like, you guys don't have much longer to live. Like, no one's going to see Oates on purpose. I mean,
well, Oates is coming to town. I'm not going to see him because I'll be in Denver at the time, but he's coming in a couple of weeks. And let's just say the demand for the tickets is not very high.
I mean, who's going to see? You could probably hang out with Oates that day. You could probably go on stage with Oates.
You get to comb his mustache.
If he has one, sometimes he likes to shave it, which is dumb.
That's right. What, like, does he do that for his solo tours? He just shaves it and then he grows it back when he's back with Hall.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's going to be back with Hall, but maybe that's what he used to do. I don't know. I have Oates' phone number, which is hilarious.
The Call and Oates line.
That was a funny one. Call and Oates. I don't know. That's like if you and I broke up in our
Press
80s.
1 for Maneater. Press 2 for She's Gone. Press 3
for I Can't Go For That.
Press 4 for Private Eyes. It's like, Jesus.
Like Tony said,
and by the way, one last anecdote for the Dabbleverse is that Daryl Hall's mom was buried out of the same place they held the Pottstown show at the Shuley Network last year.
Oh, we know that. Everyone knows that.
I know. Just for just to say it. Why not?
Did you
Useless factoid.
Did you actually walk into the room where they had Daryl Hall's mom's calling hours?
I didn't know. I don't know which part of it there were. I think that was when Ray was mad at me for hanging out backstage.
Oh yeah, Ray thought you were spying on him for me.
Yeah, well, that I was trying to purposely sabotage the whole night, and I'm like, no, I was hanging out with Kumia and I don't know, and talking to Perry and everybody.
Do you have
Jim? Jim, I see Jim's in the chat. What's going on, Jim? They just wrapped up filming last week for the Wild Western movie, which I am a part of.
When's that coming out?
From what I heard, it might be sometime early next year, like February, March.
Okay.
Jim's in the movie too, and so is Tom and Garrett, and of course Perry is the star, as he always is.
What I want to, Have you have any idea what Ray's been up to as of late?
No, I have no idea.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you know Ray, right? You know him well.
Yes, I do.
So he went to that Hackamania in Las Vegas. Before we get out of here, I gotta talk to you about this. And I'm getting all kinds of mixed reports of what really happened, what didn't happen. But the one thing that did happen is they had a stand-up portion of the show on Friday, and they put like 3 relatively unknowns up, and it was kind of wonky. Nobody really knew nobody knew who they were. And then Ray comes up, and they introduce him. He gets a standing ovation because they all know Ray. He's part of this or whatever this is. But them giving him a standing O went straight to his head. To this day, he can't do a podcast without bringing up the standing O. And he like really thinks, like the thing is about if you give Ray any kind of compliment, he goes from 0 to 100. Like he goes from I'm a piece of shit to I'm Louis C.K., I'm Dave Chappelle. So now in his mind, he thinks he gets standing O's, like he's in demand. And it's hilarious to watch Ray. You can't give him compliments. You can't, because his ego comes from out of nowhere. Like he becomes such a fucking asshole. Like he thinks he's something. So you got to like keep him down. You got to, no, Ray, you're a piece of shit. You're not funny. Okay. I know you got a standing O coming to the stage, but it wasn't because you're material. They were just happy they recognized somebody. That could have been fucking Teamster Tim coming to the stage. It would have went crazy. That's the fact, Jack.
How did he do though on stage?
He riffed about the Dabbleverse up front and called, Kevin Brennan was sniping at the time. He called me a fucking loser and everything. So he's getting a good reaction. And then he tried to go into his material, and then he lost the crowd completely. Then he would come back to like calling me a loser and Kevin a loser and get reaction and then get back into the material. And then, of course, in Ray fashion, he's supposed to do 10, 12 minutes. He does 23. He runs the light.
Oh, just like at the Secret Show.
Just like every show he does.
And then Gino dropped the N-word, and they had to cut it off.
He has zero respect for the audience, zero respect for the show. So Ray, just being a complete asshole, just runs the light, and they're waving him to get off. So he gets off very awkwardly, screaming the punchline to his last joke, hands off the microphone, doesn't even put it in the stand. And everyone's like, okay, that was okay.
Who followed him?
I don't remember. Some
Pat
guy.
Dixon?
I don't know. It wasn't even a guy. It was just some Vegas comic.
Oh, okay. Like Shecky Green.
Yeah, I don't even know who it was. But anyways, the fact that Ray got a standing O going to the stage, like in his mind, he thinks he's going to contact Dave Stroop going, hey, give me that Sunday back. In fact, not only give me that Sunday, give me Friday through Sunday, 2 shows Saturday, 2 shows Friday, because I just got a standing O at Hackamania, and you might want to put me in a theater next year. That's how Ray thinks. And it's just sad.
I mean, so in your way of helping him is calling him a piece of shit to just knock him down pegs, and that makes him a little bit better, have more drive. But if he's saying that he's having standing ovations, that's going to keep his head inflated, and it's going to compromise his material, right?
Just telling Ray good job, that's basically saying you're the greatest comedian of all time. If you say good job, Ray, hey, nice joke. If you say nice joke, he goes, holy shit, that's my hot pockets. I'm off to the races. I'm a murderer. That's my closer. Like, you can't give him a compliment because it goes straight to his head and he becomes an unbearable egomaniac. It's
his
unbelievable.
machine.
That's his machine. Yeah, exactly. He's doing a joke about Dimebag Darrell. It makes no sense from 2000. When did Dimebag Darrell die?
04.
04. He's doing a joke and it just makes zero sense. And he thinks it's something. I don't know.
Does he make a joke about who the cop was that shot the man who shot Dimebag Darrell?
He has no idea who Dimebag Darrell is. He has no idea what really happened. He just heard the name Dimebag Darrell, and he's like, hey, of course he does drugs. His name's Dimebag. I'm like, hilarious. Anyways, guys, this is our Monday show. On that note, it was members only. Mondays with Mazur, members only. So this will be up on members only, and it's just our little thing. But Tony, you got anything you want to plug before we roll out?
Yeah, once again, the Rock Bottom podcast, and make sure anytime Ray comes in your town, give him a standing ovation.
Every time. He deserves it. You're going to want to give Ray a standing O.
Because not everybody is involved in the hackverse. So if Ray's in your town because if you're going to stand, everybody has to stand. They're like, I might be in the presence of royalty right now.
And you're not going to hear the end of that standing O anytime soon, just like you're not going to hear the end of that he beat me in the roast battle or that dry bar special he got. It's going to go on and on and on and on and on. Speaking of stand-up shows, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 2 shows a night. Me and Nick Swartzen. Can't wait. It's going to be fun. I'll see you in Utah this Wednesday. Looking forward to it. For Tony Mazur, I'm the Z-Man, the Mud Shark. I'll see you tomorrow before I roll out. We'll do one more. Thank you so much for watching Mondays with Mazur, everybody. We're out.